Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Film Podcast. I'm Ryan.
Justin.
And I'm Tyler.
And today we're talking about one that I was actually pretty worried about, but I ended up loving. We're talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night 2025. How did you guys like it? Because I know you didn't like it as much as I did.
You want to go first, Justin? Okay, so I'm coming into this franchise with no knowledge of it whatsoever, other than maybe like the random like meme that you sent me about like garbage time or something. So I have no knowledge of what the first movie is, and I just kind of went into this movie blind. And I'm not saying I didn't like it. I think I still gave it a positive review. But I think the biggest problem is that there's literally no actual level of terror or horror in this movie whatsoever. And I think it's kind of a double-edged sword, because while I think it suffers from the fact that it's not very scary, it also succeeds in that route because how the film decides to tell its story, I think, is actually really unique and creative. Where the slasher here is basically framed as an anti-hero, whereas Jason and Freddy have kind of become like cultural anti-heroes due to horror fans. They were never seen as the heroes of that movie, where this guy is sort of an equalizer, like vigilante anti-hero that we almost are supposed to root for, I think. And it offers a pretty unique twist on the slasher formula that I've never seen before. So when it comes to the positives, I think that if you like slashers and you're looking for something a little different, I think you might get something out of this movie. Where I think it isn't great or doesn't work as well as I think it should is, if I'm going to a slasher film, I want gore. I want creative kills. And I don't think the movie delivered on any of those things. Like, the movie's not particularly gory, even for an R-rated movie. And outside of maybe a couple interesting ways to swing an axe, like, I don't think there's a level of creative kills. I almost would have rather see him use his environment maybe a little bit more, or play to the Christmas theme perhaps a little bit more. I mean, there's a kill scene in this movie that I think is the strongest part of the movie, that kind of reminded me of probably the most famous scene of the movie Kingsman, if you guys have seen that, having to do with yeah, never mind. I'm not going to say it because I think people should watch this movie. But no, I mean, when it comes to like the bones of what makes a slasher good, I think it could have been better. But its unique way of telling a story, I think, made it mostly a success for me.
Yeah, I agree. I want Justin to go next. I just want to say a couple of things. I totally agree with the horror aspect, that when I had this movie sit a little bit, it's not really a horror movie, and that's okay. Like, I'm fine with it not being a horror movie. I also just want to say that you're cutting out a little bit, so sorry to everybody. Your voice is staying clear, but your video keeps freezing. So sorry if it looks weird while editing, but I still understood everything you said, so sorry everybody, but it's gonna stay. Go ahead, Justin. Tell me how you felt.
Well, I didn't hate it or anything like that, but as I told you, Ryan, on our way home, I don't feel like this was a Silent Night, Deadly Night movie at the time of writing. I feel like it was like how the Hellraiser movies were as they got further on, is that they wrote a script, said, hey, let's throw Hellraiser in there. Now it's a Hellraiser movie. That's what it felt like. It didn't feel like it had anything really to do to connect with Silent Night, Deadly Night at all, other than maybe a couple references here and there, and then the whole how the main character becomes this killer, essentially. Um, but I mean, the twist I thought was fine, if you want to call it a twist. I don't know if you really can say it's a twist, but I don't feel like this should have been a horror movie. I feel like this probably could have worked better as maybe a horror comedy, especially with the whole main lead and the other person that he was communicating with the entire movie could have just bounced off as a nice, I don't want to say buddy cop movie, like buddy cop relationship, but that type of feel with how they were discussing their moral compass on things and how things should be done. Like, I feel like that could have touched the realm of more comedy than horror because, like Tyler said, there's nothing scary about this movie, nothing other than how it plays, how our main character is more of an anti-hero than anything else. But yeah, I mean, overall, I don't say this was scary at all since we are basically watching the killer in his eyes, watching him doing everything and why he's doing everything. Like, if we're gonna do that, then I feel like I don't want a killer who's kind of like, I know Ryan said it's like Kill Bill, minus the revenge part of it. It's we're just watching this person go and kill people, but the reason why he's doing it is not what I want in a horror movie. I want a person who he's just killing people just because he's a bad person, because he's an evil person. I don't want to be on the side of the killer right away and be like, yes, those people should die, or these people should die. Like, I don't want to be immediately on Jason's side right away. I want there to at least be, of the victims, at least somebody I like, and not be like, just kill them all. I don't care about any of them. Just kill them all. I don't care about anybody else. And that's what it felt like in this one. So, I mean, I'm kind of unbalanced. I like it, but I don't like it, you know?
While I can agree with that, stop. While I can agree with some of the things you said, I disagree heavily with some of the other aspects. I for the horror aspect of like what you're saying with the killer, you don't want to be on their side. I think a lot of movies have done that really well and proven that that works. I know I brought up Devil's Rejects is a great example of a movie where, like, in the first one, they are all like horrible, like awful people, but the second one and the third one are both made so that you kind of have sympathy for them, and you're from their
But they're
perspective.
still horrible people, though. They don't
Right.
have like a compass where you can understand why they're justified. No, they're still terrible people doing terrible things. Like how this movie says, you can do bad things but still be a good person, and do good things and be a terrible person. Like, no, these are people who are terrible doing terrible things still.
Right, but
Yeah,
another example that I can give.
compass.
Sorry, real quick. Another really good example that I can give is a very good movie, very well done, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That's a great example of a horror movie where, truthfully, the killers aren't doing anything wrong.
Yeah, but that was the whole shtick of that movie.
Right.
Like it wasn't up to the audience to feel whether or not Tucker and Dale versus Evil were heroes or villains or anti-heroes or whatever. Like, you were told that the theme of this movie is that these people think they're evil, but in actuality, because you're seeing it from their perspective, they're kind of just like tripping their way into these evil acts.
They don't kill any of them at all.
Correct.
That is actually dependent on which version of the movie you watch. Did you know that with the DVD release of Tucker and Dale, they actually made a second version of the movie where it's through the eyes of the survivors?
Well, that's fun. But yeah, so like Devil's Rejects, your points on Devil's Rejects completely valid. It's been a very long time since I've seen that movie. I think back on that conversation, this movie's moral compass is a problem because whether we like it or not, he is a murderer. And the movie kind of goes back and forth with wrestling with, you should not like him because he's a murderer, and you should feel sympathetic in his plights for love, his murder of terrible people, right? Like, it's kind of, the movie's actually kind of in a bad way promoting vigilantism, but
doing it a worse way than Batman.
Well, Batman has a moral compass, though. Like,
I'll be honest. I think one of the things that the movie doesn't do very well is give more of an explanation. Not really getting to spoiler, because, like you said, a lot of this should be seen. Because there's some great surprises in it. But like the aspect of him kind of like being told, like, either you do this or something bad will happen. We never understand why something bad will happen or what that bad thing will. Like, it doesn't explain enough of the background. And I think I would have liked just a little more explanation on that. And a reason of, like, okay, is he gonna miss somebody? This is important. It doesn't really feel important. You still kind of live in this world of like, is he psychotic? Is this real? Is something going on? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Like, what are the true consequences if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do?
Exactly.
It's not like a cabin in the woods where they have to do a certain thing for a certain reason, otherwise shit goes sideways. With this one, like you said, we don't know. Why do we need to care if he does any killing at all?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so it's really hard to talk about this movie without going into massive spoilers. But there's like a a figure talking in his head and like guiding him on this path. So like the main character never feel like he has a true identity of his own. Rather, he's just a reflection of whoever this person in his mind is. And maybe that's the point of the movie, but I think it kind of hurt the character from a character development standpoint. And like, I mean, like if you're a horror fan, you'll recognize the lead of this was in the much divisive Halloween Ends as Corey. And yeah, I mean, outside of him having what?
The girl, the main love interest is from Happy Death Day.
But like the main star?
Yeah. Well, not the main
Oh.
star. She's the best friend of.
Oh, okay.
Star. Or the roommate, whatever it was. I don't remember.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Okay. Did not know that. Oh, did you know that girl is actually Matthew Modine's daughter?
That I did not know.
That is fascinating. Okay. Yeah. No. I mean, I is this movie only going to be in theaters for a limited time, Ryan?
I can only imagine. I mean, it didn't get a lot of advertising. Truthfully, I didn't even realize it was coming out so soon. I feel like it almost gives me like Shudder movie vibes. But I don't think it's a Shudder release. I think it's Bloody Disgusting released it, which is essentially Shudder, I guess. So, I don't know. I went into the movie thinking that it was just going to be a really bad remake, as most horror remakes are. But I think the reason I liked it so much is because I had such low expectations. I know you compared it before, Justin, to Hellraiser, but I actually also think that the remake of Hellraiser was one of the strongest Hellraiser movies. So it's hard because some of these 80s horror movies in general were just so wacky at the time that when you bring them in and you revisit them and you give them just a little bit more of a cohesive story, people who really loved those originals start to grab onto them. And I think that's what happened here is the original Silent Night Deadly Night is so uncohesive that it's truly just a man in a Santa costume walking around saying punish and killing people, and you don't really know why or where or what his motive is besides his parents got killed by a Santa Claus guy. And that's literally all you know. And then the second movie is essentially the same, where they just reused the same exact shots from the first one, and they got some guy that looked like him to play his brother. And the guy that plays his brother, Ricky, great guy, great person, have met him in real life, very nice. But he didn't really have any acting experience. So the movies aren't very good compared to this one. And it's not that I'm saying it's a great movie, I'm saying it's a good movie compared to those original ones.
Yeah, they all get off the rails as it goes on further and further.
Yeah, I mean, maybe with the knowledge of what the previous movie was and what this movie's doing different, maybe I appreciate it more or dislike it more even. But yeah, I mean, like going into it blind, I could only really rate what I saw, and it's just like it's a decent slasher. It's got a few cool moments, but ultimately, I think its greatest strength is also its biggest weakness, which is, I guess, fairly rare for a movie. But yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, I would only recommend this one to strong horror fans, and I don't know if the movie's unique way of telling a story is like worth a strong recommendation for me. even though I liked the movie and I'm positive on it. So I don't know how you guys feel, but
I liked the movie a lot. I'd say that any, like you said, any fan of 80s horrors should definitely see it. Um, but it specifically has to be that weird, wacky 80s horror. Like I said, the movie is almost filmed kind of like a Tarantino style of like stop, flash, pause, screen, blood red on the screen. You have to like that
Yeah.
that weird kind of. Um, I'd also compare it to like Psycho Gorman a little bit. In the way that
Yeah.
it's filmed. So you have to like those weird ones. But if you like those old, weird, Shudder 80s horror movies, catch it for sure. You'll love it.
Yeah. Or even if you like the series in general,
Yeah.
it's still worth a watch.
yeah. I wish I had more to say. I just don't.
I think you should
I'm
watch
sorry.
at least the first two for this Christmas.
I wanted to try to watch the original before I did the podcast tonight. It just didn't work out for time. I had kind of a rough last week of school in terms of getting over illnesses and not feeling all that physically. So
Well,
Um,
I know your girlfriend loves horror movies, so I think you should just throw it on. I don't think they're that bad. I truly think they're probably on the same level as like Halloween.
yeah, no, I think she could handle it. I just don't know if it's going to be like something she's dying to see. So, yeah, no, I mean, I definitely want to check it out. I'm off for the next 2 weeks with school, so I'll definitely be playing catch up. I still got to watch quite a few shows, a couple movies I want to catch up on. But yeah, I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad I got to see it with you, who is a legitimate fan of the series. And yeah, I mean, I would maybe recommend if this is your thing, maybe go and support it. Otherwise, I mean, it's going to be on a streaming service eventually. For most people, just wait for that.
Mhm. Yeah. Just wait till it comes out.
Well, anything more, gentlemen?
Nope. Everyone will get to enjoy our heavy debate of Five Nights at Freddy's next week, and then we will be taking a little bit of time off for the post-holiday time, I think, because we're not going to see movies for the rest of the year now. So we may do some episodes. You may see a week or two without any videos, but we will be back, and we will be ready to give you more content once things start up for the movie season again.
Check us out on Letterboxd. I'm still going to be watching stuff, even though we're not going to be doing full episode lists. You can check out all my reviews there. Who knows? Maybe I'll shoot a video or something too, just to maybe get something out to you guys. But yeah, it'll be a fun holiday season of rest and relaxation for your friends here at Beyond the Film.
I will say, in to give everyone hopes, I do have our first month, maybe month and a half, written for movies that we'll see. So I can share that information with you once the episode hears, but we'll keep it a secret for everybody else.
Ooh.
Except for next episode when I tell you one we're gonna see, but whatever, that'll be a surprise for next week.
Okay.
What is that?
Time travel. This comes out on Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody! Happy holidays to whatever holiday you celebrate and support.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Bless Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad.
I hate that song.
I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart.
That is staying in the episode. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah.
Happy holidays.